Hello, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered Moments with myself, Mike. We got Eddie, and we've got a special guest who's graced our pod for the first time, Mr. Kyreece. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you on, man. We're always happy to see new guests because it's a fresh perspective. Get to grill them.
It's true. To grow them.
But yeah, no, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Good, bro.
So, as you probably seen a couple of episodes, we always like to start off with the introduction. So, first of all, if you could introduce yourself, tell us who you support.
Of course, name's Kai. I play football and I also support United, Manchester United.
I thought you were going to say Newcastle United.
Yeah,
it's West Ham United as well.
Yeah, that's how I thought. Let me mention it real quick.
Okay. So you've been supporting them from birth or from young?
I haven't. Funny story, actually. My birthright team was actually Arsenal.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, when I was young, I was a diehard Arsenal fan, right? And basically, my uncle was an Arsenal fan, so me and him used to sit down, watch games and everything. My dad used to actually take me to Highbury all the time. I was there when Arsenal won the league, everything. But when Henry went, my heart left Arsenal. It was just like,
oh wow!
I didn't feel when I used to go to the games. It wasn't the same anymore when Henry was gone. Henry kind of made me want to wear 14 on my shirt when I was young. I used to feel like I was dribbling like him. And he was gone. So after that, it was actually I watched Arsenal United one time, and I saw Ronaldo, and then after that, I was like, yeah, United's been my team ever since.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
I mean, that's honesty. I think I do believe most London's Man United fans at some stage of their lives they support Arsenal, but then they just veer to Man U. That's what I believe. But you're honest, innit? Some of them are not honest with themselves.
Nah, it's true. I got even family members that were the same. I think most young kids in London support Arsenal. If you didn't support Arsenal back in the day, it was like, do you really know football? I mean, like, especially when I was young, I'm about to play football in the parks, whatever, and people like, what team do you support? Like Arsenal. If they said one mad team, you're just thinking like, yeah, you're a bit different.
Yeah.
You're a bit different. That's what you're thinking. So,
no, fair enough.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So obviously you said that your dad took you to Highbury when you was young.
Of course, yeah.
So would you say that was your first memory of football, or was it something else?
Wasn't my first memory of football. My first memory of football was I started playing football when I was like five or four. So basically, my auntie is like a year and a half older than me, and she used to go swimming lessons. And my nan, I used to be sitting there. My nan needed to do something with me because I'm just chilling there watching her swim. So she was like, I used to apparently always like there was. I don't know if you guys know Vale Farm, North Wembley.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Probably not. Anyhow, it's like a football place down there with swimming pools and leisure centre. I used to be sitting at the glass looking out and watching a bunch of boys play football. And I was just thinking, like, when I wanted to go, I didn't know what they were doing. I just wanted to join them. And my nan asked me, do you want to play football? Do you want to go swimming? I chose football, and that was my first ever memory. And then somehow I started and I was good at it. So
okay.
That's my first memory.
That's good, man. All right. So who's your all-time favorite player?
Cristiano, man. That's my guy, man. Cristiano's my guy.
I knew that, but that was for the listeners' purposes.
Yeah, you guys will know me too well. You'll know me, Mike.
Hold on, so you're picking Ronaldo over Henry, over the likes of
everyone. Over everyone is Ronaldo for me.
R9 as well. Wait, Cristiano Ronaldo, you said?
Cristiano Ronaldo, yeah. Cristiano, man.
What's your reason for him being your favorite football player?
I think it goes down to the football players that I tend to like, right? Football players that they've had to remodel their game in order to be what they are today. So that whole remodeling process and just the process of improving is what I love. So when I listen to the Ronaldo stories and all those type of guys, like how they weren't really supposed to be where they are today. But
Yeah.
a bit of luck and determination and consistency in the way they train got them there, and how they separated themselves from everyone else to focus on what they do. I love that process. And then just to see the way he plays, the way he finishes, that he wasn't always a finisher, but he just become a beast at it. I just love that, man.
Yeah. But he could have ended up like Charisma, because Charisma
You know what
was
I
meant to be
mean?
better than him. But
Charisma
obviously-
was better than him. He was better than him.
But he didn't work as hard as Ronaldo to like perfect his craft.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just that discipline to get better and just want to be better. I love that. I love the mindset. It's the mindset. It's
Yeah.
like that for me is what made me more of a Ronaldo fan.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's definitely someone to aspire to, you know, because of everything that you just said. So,
Exactly.
Okay. Cool.
He has his pros and cons. Let's just put it that way. But
What's the cons?
Yeah, Eddie, what's the cons?
What's the cons?
I mean, football is a team sport, isn't it? So you're meant to embrace a team. I don't think he's a team player. Obviously, you can't, his ability is undoubtable, and his work ethic is on like next to none. I don't think we'll ever see. I mean, we might do in the future because there's always people that replicate people. But to this day, you've not seen somebody who works as hard and looks after themselves as much as he does. So he's reaping the rewards. You know, so I never argue when people say he is their best player of all time, but I just have to ask the question, is it Ronaldo or is it Cristiano Ronaldo? Because some people just say Ronaldo and I'm thinking,
Yeah, it's
in
true.
my head. Do you know what I mean? So you can never argue that, like his stats and the way he's looked after himself, the way he plays the game, you know, apart from some of his behavior, sometimes when his team is not doing too great, everything else, like he shuns at it on the pitch, in it. So you can't fault him.
Yeah.
You see what you said. I like to argue points. So with saying that, have you ever looked at like the greatest sports players in each sport to see what their characteristics are like?
Yeah. See, that's someone like Jordan, right? What he did. Yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. But again, I can't argue someone says Jordan is the all-time great because there might be things I don't like, but that don't take away from his ability and what he's achieved.
Very true. I agree to that. Because I just feel like, you know, where you've got those guys, as I said, they try their best to absolutely separate themselves from everybody else to stay consistent with their day-to-day work and whatever it is that they're doing. When you compare that to sometimes the other players in your team, let's say, for instance, let's look at any team where guys in the Premier League, for instance, they've made it, but they're partying all the time and those things. And imagine a guy that's partying all the time and you're at home waiting to get up at 4 a.m. or whatever it is to train again. Your frustration levels are going to show in the game because you're like, I know what you was doing last night. Do you know what I mean? So there's no excuse as to why we're losing right now. So I guess you just see it boil over in I guess people's will to win sometimes.
It's a passion, in it, and obviously
Exactly.
That's true.
You know, if I played with Ronaldo, I think he would love me because I'll have the same passion as him. Whereas some people just can't, like, they can't bring themselves to do what they need to do in order to win. You know. So,
but would you say, obviously, we can't just say it's like what's happening now because it probably has happened in the past. But would you say that's the mentality of a modern day footballer, that they just don't have that passion anymore? It's like once they've made it in the Prem, they feel like, yeah, that's it, I've made it. It's like they're not striving to be better than what they are. Do you know what I mean?
I think so, man. I agree with you on that one because I feel like I've seen so many guys get there. I'm here now, I've arrived. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I get paid, I'm good. Everyone knows my name. And there's just like, I think not in the modern day footballer, I think what we have to look at is the likes of the social medias is in there so early that you're so recognized so early before actually doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like you've received the same accolades as Cristiano, for instance.
That is true.
But you haven't actually done what he's done. Does that make sense?
No. That's a good point. That's a very
I
good
feel
point.
like so many people are glorified so early.
Yeah.
Like a new guy on the scene, oh, he's a joke, he's this, he's done that. And next thing you know, he's like a Wilshere, for instance. He can't even get in to find a team anymore.
yeah, but I think in this, you can't compare it because I think when Ronaldo started, you was on like a schoolboy wage where, you get paid less than 5K a week, and you have to build your name, and you have to earn what you're worth. But now I think publicity and things make, like, I hate to use this as an example, like, but someone like Rashford, right? He hit the ground running quick, and the Man United secure him, innit? So you can say, yes, when the money came, he probably might have lost a bit of passion or worked harder. But with Ronaldo, we keep forgetting he's an exceptional individual. We can't compare him to the normal person.
It's funny you mentioned Rashford, because I was gonna touch on him, because I feel like he's in that category where obviously I can't speak for him, but from what I see, he feels like he's made it and he's kind of like chilling. But I'm just thinking to myself, he came through the youth ranks, yeah, and obviously he made his debut and stuff like that, and he really like made a difference when he started playing game. He was scoring, assisting, or whatnot. Like, he was really showing his talent. And I'm just thinking, at the stage that Man United are transitioning and stuff, he could have like really pushed himself and thought, you know what, I'm actually going to be the main man for Man United. Like, I'm going to be like the Eric Cantona of this generation for Man United. But it's like he's kind of like fell away and just like he's just like all casual now. Like,
but it might not be in his mentality. Don't forget, you can't change someone's. You can say it, you might want to do it, but I think, like, again, Ronaldo is a different everybody else. We can't compare him to the normal individual, because as much as you want to train, he will try and out-train you, and he will do certain things that you can't do on a daily basis, but he will do it every day. He will do it every day, and that's something you can't fault him on. Like, if he knows, he said, I want to play till I'm 40. Man's looked after himself. Like, he's in better shape than some of the Man United youngsters right now. It's crazy.
Right, that's in line with that one. I see some out of shape footballers, and I'm like, bro, but how? What? You know what I mean? But I guess what you're saying is true, because you look at that schoolboy wage. Rashford's on what, 280 grand a week or something like that now, and you look at what Ronaldo was on back then. But I guess that's with most sports now. You see people get paid a lot very early.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably the biggest issue now. That it's like you've made everything you ever thought you could make, and you're 20.
Yeah.
I mean, so at this point, it's like, do you know what? It's not that bad if I don't play that well. I mean, like, I think the playing field is different, because, as you said, you go back in time at other sports people, they weren't making what everyone's making now. I guess football as a business has gone much further than it was back then. So it's just hard, as you said, to compare everybody to that mindset. But I just think the will to win makes you do anything in training and stay consistent. Because, for instance, the way United are losing at the moment, it's like you don't see anybody look too upset, if that makes sense. I want to see someone grab one another and, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
start scrapping.
Drag man up, like, what are you doing? Like, fix up. Like, I just feel like it's just so, no one, of course you see it in Ronaldo when we lose, man's running straight off the pitch and all those type of things.
Yeah.
I personally like that. I prefer someone to react that way to losing, because what they're going to do to try and change the result of the game is going to be different. Do you know what I mean? Like, like drawing with Aston Villa 2-0, like, what is that? You know what I mean? What really is that?
I think they phased out the likes of the Roy Keanes, the Patrick Vieiras, the Robbie Savages, the ones that will do something on the pitch to show their compassion to an individual who's made a mistake or is not trying as hard. I think they phased that out by the tackles that, like, we deem to be red cards and that. So them kind of players now, because before, no one will tell you that Roy Keane's a mad baller, but he's a leader and he would do whatever he has to do on the pitch to ensure his team wins. Now you don't really have that. You have ballers. Everyone wants to do FIFA tricks. Everyone wants to do the best parts. No one wants to play their role. Centre backs are all failed centre midfielders. Like,
yeah, it's true. It's very true. And strikers and that, it's very true. When you put it that way, I think, because I always have this conversation with friends, right? I'm like, is football running out of talent?
They're phasing people out. That's what it is.
I don't think it's running out of talent, though. I think the talent is there.
Like, you look at, for instance, the Brazil team back in the day compared to now. This Brazil team now wouldn't touch the old Brazil team.
Yeah.
But my question is, why is that? Because we always know Brazil was, no matter what happened, Brazil were hitting quarters and semi-finals. Brazil weren't making it out of the group stages anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, with that, I'm like, the reason I ask is it run out of talent, because I feel like, as you said, it's they're changing the whole dynamic. Everyone's a pretty footballer now.
Or it could be that maybe they're not taking a chance on certain caliber of players, isn't it? Like maybe they're looking for people that fit a certain model. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's say, for example, someone like Ronaldinho, like, let's say if he was like scouted now, maybe he might not get picked because they might think, oh, he's too flashy. They want someone that's just got pace, or, you know, someone that's got strength, but not someone that's like flashy or whatever. So it could be like the scouting system and who they're trying to pick.
Ronaldinho as an example, because no matter what, if Ronaldinho is gonna bad up anyone, regardless what era he was playing in. If you say someone like, I don't know, Luis Figo, somebody
but I wanted to use the Ronaldinho example simply because we know he's got like trick. Obviously, I'm not saying that he's just all about tricks. I'm not saying that at all. But like, he's that kind of player, like that flair player. But who's there right now that's like him? There's not many.
Neymar, innit? They'll say Neymar.
Yeah,
Neymar still ain't got that Ronaldinho dynamic.
Yeah,
Ronaldinho was a skillful powerhouse. Do you know what I mean?
I don't feel like we'll see another player like that. You know, even like Messi. You know,
yeah, they're not getting picked up like that. They're not getting picked up.
Yeah,
they won't get picked up. I think the game is changing, as you said, like a lot. I think everyone looks good, if that makes sense. There isn't a massive bunch or group of players that are those Roy Keanes, for instance. Like Roy Keane don't care, or Patrick Vieira doesn't care how you look when you're playing. If you're not doing the job, you probably get slapped on the pitch. You know what I mean? You'll get those guys will make you think, do you know what? It's not even worth me not playing well today, because if I don't play well today, it might get long on TV. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
I feel like you need those guys. Like, if for instance, of course, not trying to slate no one's team, but if you look at the Arsenal dynamic now, they don't have like Vieira. I don't think Vieira would be in a team like this now and people aren't performing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And the amount of players that came through the Arsenal system, which were amazing, which didn't really hit the heights, was because those certain players aren't around. You need those players in a team to make everyone perform. He ain't got to be great. You don't want to step over centre mid doing step overs and looking good, and he's got the pretty boots on and he's got the hairstyle. Sometimes you need just a normal Irishman that don't care about nothing. Smash you in the tackle. Do you know what I mean? And enjoy smashing you in the tackle.
Yeah.
And you've got the other guys that can then pick up the pieces, as you said, the Roy Keanes, the what's it called, Patrice Evras, all those type of players.
Yeah.
Vidic come out with a broken nose and ask him to come back on the pitch because he hasn't finished. Like, you don't really see that no more.
That's true. All right. Well, you've given us some good insights, so thank you for that. But I wanted to touch on you personally, because you know, I know your history. You know, you've been a baller from day. You know, playing semi-pro and that. Unfortunately, I can't like list off all your teams, but that's what you're here for.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, tell us about your experiences. You know, playing semi-pro and stuff like from the beginning.
Beginning semi-pro, I played for a team. I'm not gonna go for every team because non-league you move a lot, man.
I go through the main ones.
The main one. So the
yeah.
team I started at when I was young, I started a team called CB Hounslow. Basically, yeah, CB Hounslow. I was about 17. I didn't really know what men's football was. Went into it and it was a completely different ball game. Played there. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it because I started to realize that the coaches that you come across in non-league football aren't that great. So I had like difficult experiences. So sometimes what they were asking me to do was what I grew up playing was very different to what they wanted done. So you'll come across different types of players. Who did I go to after that? That's a while back, I think. So transition, I'll just go for a bunch of teams. I played for Bedfont Sports around that sort of time. I played for AFC Dunstable, a team called Southall, and Dunstable Town. Waltham Abbey as well. Just a few teams in like the step 4, step 5 sort of levels. I didn't like non-league football at all. I didn't really enjoy it. I didn't enjoy the pitches. I didn't enjoy the way they warmed up. I didn't enjoy the mindset.
Yeah.
I personally never enjoyed it. Probably still don't, but I didn't like it. So I always went abroad. I went on trial with teams abroad. I tried for a team called Lusitania, another team called Coimbra, which is these teams are in Portugal. I tried for those teams, and automatically, as soon as I landed and started playing, I knew everything was different.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to non-league training, right? And most of the footballs are flat. And then you're like, coach, like, what's going on with the ball? Like, just play, like, why are you always complaining? And then you're like, okay, and then the warm-up's not that good. And then there's all these little things that I guess contribute to the mindset of you going into a game. It's just like, do you know what I mean? But then when you go abroad, for instance, and you're on trial, like, everything's right. The balls are pumped. The grass is watered. It's level. Do you know what I mean? There's so many.
So there's more preparation abroad than there is here.
There's more preparation.
Eddie, would you agree?
I've played abroad, but not on trials. But definitely, I think semi-pro. Well, in my era, semi-pro was more. It was a men's sport, and if you was young and you was put into a semi-pro team, it's because they wanted to see how you would react. Obviously, if you actually went into like a professional team. So yes, I agree with everything he's saying, because coaches make a difference to how you transition into becoming a professional footballer or not, because if the coach don't like you or you don't fit their system, it's over for you. I mean, I was a left midfielder who could play left back. When I went semi-pro, I remember like they used to play three at the back, so I used to be a wing back. But in some games, because they said I was quite tall and I was quite big and quick, they'll put me centre back left.
There you go.
I'm not really. I'm defensive, but I'm not that defensive. Do you know what I mean?
You're in a smash it and no ball control type of like. Touch on that experience, right? So I'll go back to my time at CB Housing. This is when I started to realize that it would, like, semi-pro football, I knew it was going to be a very difficult adjustment for me. So been a winger and striker basically my whole life, and coming to the team, and it was a bit difficult because, as you know, you step in and I'm a striker, slim guy, fast, all the feet, score goals. That's what I was good at. Bang, I go in, and the players in your team don't even play to your strengths. There's a formula in non-league football that you go to any sort of level, watch a certain amount of games, you're going to say the same thing over and over again. There's going to be minimal touches along the back line, and they're going to smash the ball into areas and try to see what happens after that. That's just a non-league game. Basically, the game is won and lost on the defender taking a bad touch on a bad pitch, or a corner a lot of the time, or set pieces. That is literally what happens most of the time. And then got moved to right back. They'll play in another team, had a quick player, and he said, "Oh, Kai, you're quick. Go into right back for me so that you can keep up with him." So going into right back, I was fast. So I was always getting to the ball ahead of him. But I never had any defensive situations. It was just, they passed it, I ran, I got to the ball, I popped it off, and I went back forward. Next thing you know, next game, Kai, you did a great job at right back. Centre back's not here this week. Can you step in for me? Okay. All right. Never done this before. Let me try. Playing centre back at this point.
Yeah.
I'm doing step overs at the back and chopping it and popping it off, and I'm just wanting to win, but not really knowing the position. But because I was faster than everyone, as you'll probably know, Eddie, when you're quicker than people, you get there before they do, meaning it looks like you're great at defending. Next thing you know, I'm playing centre back. Week in, week out, I'm playing centre back. And I'm just like, what am I doing here? And I'm asking the manager, like, when am I going to play back in my position? He said, well, someone's in there now. We've won a few games, so you don't really change your winning formula. Wow. I'm just like, oh, man. Telling my dad's like, oh, maybe you can play there.
Yeah.
But my dad came and watched me a couple of times. He's like, nah, Kai, you're not really a defender. But he said, you played all right, though. But I'm playing all right on the ball, do you know what I mean? And I'm not getting in certain situations. Anyhow, Arsenal under 23 coach came to manage the team or coach at the team. And he saw me straight away. I was like, this guy's not a defender. What's he doing in defense? Manager said it was quick and he did a bit. In the end, he said, this guy's a striker. He said, every time we're defending, you can see he's on his toes and he's ready to run forward. He's not even banking on those guys getting past to shoot. He's thinking if that ball deflects, I'm off. And then in the end, he moved, man. I ended up playing striker after that, but I still find situations with managers where they will still try and put you in defense for little stupid situations. And as you probably realize, Eddie, I think that's just semi-pro football.
Yeah, bro. And what I used to hate, if you was a winger, yeah, all they did was they hit it in the channel and you got to chase it and try to cross. That's all. If you did that, you might not hit the striker once, but they'll clap for you. You've done your job.
This is
I
my
used to hate that.
bro. I feel like it rewards poor habits. It rewards poor habits. And I thought, as I said, like, it's just channel football. Maybe because the pitches are so bad down the middle a lot of the time.
Yeah, but still, man. Because I've been to Spain. I've played in Spain. I played on sand. And the Spanish team that we played, mate, they played us off the pitch. They beat us, what, 6-1?
You see what I mean?
But they stuck to their philosophy. They're passing and moving. But in England, I remember when I joined adult football, it was all about your strength and your speed.
That's it.
Had one player that could ping a ball in the middle. He would turn, ping at angles. Or you have a big striker. You hit the big striker and you got feed off the scraps.
So they're going off on people's attributes and actually having a tactical plan. Essentially.
Yeah, and this
100%.
kept happening until European players started coming to the Premier League, like, you know, and then they changed because the Premier League used to be similar as well back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, you had wingers that could cross and you had the big forwards that could header it or whatnot. Changed it a little bit. Okay. So yeah, I feel that pain, bro. Trust me.
Eddie, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you, bro?
I'm 34 now.
You see, I'm 24.
Oh,
so
snap.
That's 10 years difference, and it's still the same thing. So when you go higher, when you're in the conference, 25 tomorrow, by the way. Yeah.
Happy birthday in advance, bro.
Thank you. When you look at those things, I think I'm glad, for instance, you went abroad and saw what the abroad football's like, because I feel like I've seen so many people that I know that are amazing at football as well. They train hard, everything's there, and they just get broken in the non-league system. They don't really fit into a system. Could the manager, I don't really, do you know what I mean? I don't trust you because you're gone.
Sorry, no, I was going to say, who's your guy that went Norway? Was it Paris?
Paris, yeah, Paris.
Is he still there?
Still there to this day. He's still there. What's it? 3 years now.
That's good, man.
Even I was talking with Paris yesterday, and I was like, how you doing out there? All that stuff, and we were talking about the non-league system, and he was like, Kai, like, the only reason I went abroad was because I was in non-league so early. And he was non-league first team from 17 up until about 2021. And he moved.
Yeah.
And he said, non-league football, he said, if I continue, I'm going to stop playing football. He said, because there's so much things that it just doesn't work for me. And it just, as I said, it just cracks people because you turn up to training and when them are in there and they're talking about what they're going to be drinking after the game. And it's just a whole mindset, like, it's just bad, man. It's bad. It's just hard to play football in that environment. As Eddie said, playing in Spain and that, as I said, Portugal, different ball game. Different type of.
I never used to stay for drinks. I don't even drink. I never used to drink when I was in my like early teens and early 20s. I never. If we lost, Eddie's going home and I don't even shower. Like I'm going yard, bro.
Straight.
I mean, so that's how I see it. I want to ask you though, are you still trying to make it? Like, is it something that you want to do? Yeah.
I definitely am, bro. Definitely am.
Okay. Because I have a few friends. Obviously, they're based in Africa, and I think one is based there. But they send players to like certain train like trials and stuff in it. I think I
remember Kai. We spoke about Prince. I think I did suggest Prince to Kai. Yeah, but I think at the time it was a bit tricky to sort of go Ghana because Prince was saying come to Ghana at that time. So.
Yeah, it was tough.
But I mean, now if you still want that opportunity, you can make something happen.
Please, plug me up, man. Plug me up. I just want to play, man.
One thing about Kai is determined. I'll never forget. This guy said to me, I remember I said to him, have you got like a plan B if you don't make it as a footballer? This was like about 2-3 years ago. This guy's like, I don't have a plan B. I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it as a footballer. If I have a plan B, that means I'm thinking about failing. But nah, I'm going to make it. And I was like, all right, yeah, this guy knows what he wants. I like that.
I think with me personally, I don't consider failure in it because I feel like if you consider failing a lot of the time, that you just put yourself in a predicament where you start doubting, can you really do it? So I just try not to doubt anything. I just go full steam ahead. If I fail, it's a possibility. But the possibility of making it might be this slim, but that is still, I'm holding on to something.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna work to make that possibility make sense for me. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. Okay. So if we went back like 5 years ago, what would you do differently?
what would I
Like,
do different?
Yeah, what have you learned over the years that maybe you could have done different back then?
I'd say a couple of things. So first thing first, I would make sure I was as off topic as it is, make sure I'm more financially stable. And reason why I'd say that is because from what I've realized, the reason why most people stop playing is because life starts to catch up and then you have bills to pay essentially. And then it's not as easy to go to a match when you've been sitting down for 9 hours working, for instance, and then you've got to go play football. So as you get older, you have life again catches up. You get older, innit? You mature and all those things. So I would have spent a little bit more time focusing on that aspect, because what I always realize, and what you realize, Mike, is that, for instance, the first contract you get as a pro a lot of the time is not going to be amazing, especially if you're coming in at different angles, where you're just kind of coming to an angle where you want exposure in a professional system. So a lot of the contracts that I was offered were very minimal. They were small contracts. But if I had more money at the time and more backing, then I could have taken it and I would have been pushing on a lot further than I am now. Yeah. So I would have looked at that. I would have definitely made sure that I didn't let managers take the piss out of me. I wouldn't let them put me all over the place just because I didn't necessarily feel like I had that much of a voice, because you're young coming in and you don't really know, you don't want to say anything because you're not going to play. And these guys take not playing you, like, I don't know, it's like they enjoy it sometimes. Knowing that you're aspiring for more, it's like they just, leave them on side. Let's see how long you last. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like I noticed I wouldn't have let managers play me about in terms of positions, and I would have learned that game time is more important than anything else. Those are the main few things I would have done differently.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that.
Yeah, so like to backbone of obviously what you're saying, Kai, I feel like now, well, when I was younger, there wasn't that much opportunities than that there is now, because I feel like the Scottish League, especially, it's an avenue that people need to, like, especially like young people like yourself in England, need to focus on, because you can go out there and make your name and then transition back to the Premier League or the Championship or whatnot. Because I don't feel like there's a lot of talented individuals out there like that. I know it's hard to get into any trials and everything, but I would say if you're still trying to make it, my personal opinion would be, or my advice to you is, this summer, work on this summer. Say, look, this summer I'm going to go to 6 trials. In every trial, I want a call back. If you go to 6, you know you're going to get calls back, because obviously you set yourself a target, you know. And like I said, I think because my boy, I'll tell you a story. So I used to play with one guy when we were 16, 17, all went to uni. At the age of 28, 29, he started playing for one of them Welsh teams in Wales. And then last year in Wembley, he was playing for Hereford in the St. John Peyton Trophy FA, 33. Do you know what I mean? So it's about it's maybe something that's guy confidence. Go to Wales, play in the Welsh league. You know, if you're talented, you get spotted and picked out.
No, that makes sense.
You know what I mean? Because all you gotta do is just get the limelight on you. And then everyone will be like, you never ever it might be like, we need a striker. What about that guy playing in that league? He's scoring 30 goals a season.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I
think
like in our generation, we was
sorry,
focused so much on the Premier League, because I swear to God, when people used to ask me, what do you want to be a footballer? I said, I want to play in the Premier League. I never thought about Championship. I never thought League One.
Facts.
I never thought, I was like, why would I want to play there? That's like semi-pro football. But
you
go there to make a name, and then you get just ask me.
Remember, Kai, I told you to even target some of the clubs that are going into administration.
Yeah, it's true.
Because they may take the opportunity to just like sign players, because they can't afford to keep some of their current players, so they might just think, okay, we'll give you like 10 bag a week or whatever just to sign up, and then you're in there.
It's true. Then you're in the door. You're not lying, man.
Even me, when me and Mike went Luton uni together, I was in a chicken shop. I saw a Luton coach. And I was like, I play for one, play for Luton. This time Luton was like, what, League 2, League 3?
Mm.
He's like, you know what, you play for a semi-pro team? I said, no, but he goes, get a semi-pro team, play a few games, call us, and we'll come and watch you. But in my back of my mind, I'm thinking, hold on, it's Luton. Why are you telling me? You should invite me for trials because where you are, you know what I mean? That was my mentality. But somebody like that is thinking ahead, they will do that. They will go and play for a team, call the guy, come and watch me, take you over there because you never know what will happen. Look at Luton now. They're flourishing.
That's happened to me like so many times. Like even now, yeah, I've got a one-to-one coach, and he was like, of course, the lockdown we didn't play for a while, like 2 seasons write-offs, and when you're trying to get back on track, bang, you can't play again. So for me, I was training a one-to-one coach recently, and he was like to me, yeah, like, I will take you like conference, etc. He takes players pro quite consistently. And this was me coming back off the no fitness, nothing. He was like, as the session was coming on, he's like, bro, I can see you're a baller. So I watched your videos on your Instagram as well. I can see you can play, but he said, get yourself fit. I'm gonna get you into a non-league club. I'll get people to come and watch you. But I think sometimes patience, bro, is just like, bro, like, I need to be playing now. Like I got guys coming to watch me. I need to hit 15 goals quickly, but you're telling me you're phasing me in, bro. What's this phase? These men aren't making it, bro. I'm gonna make it, so let me play. But I guess I'm in the process of now I've networked a lot more, and I'm just trying to get in and play consistently, and then start getting these guys to try and make moves for me, man.
Yeah, that's the best thing I'll say. Like once you're playing and they're gonna take you because you know in yourself, I'm playing. Yes, you're coming to watch me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to perform. Like,
yeah, that's it. That's it.
So are you still on the books of Dunstable?
Oh, nah, I played. So this is what I'm saying, patience. So my one-to-one coach said he had a couple of teams for me to go to. And he wanted me to just go to this one team and train and play because he was coaching there just to help me. I went there, played the game. They were shocking. And I was like, damn, okay, let me see. Because he said, okay, I'm going to plug you up with some other teams in the meantime. Whilst he was doing that, I just went to another team called Tring. They're even worse, but they're in the league above. So I was like, let me just go a league above. I'll play it and go from there.
Yeah.
And then it will probably be the same sort of club, they should be in the same level. And then I'm just like, So now I'm actually looking to go to clubs close to my house because my one-to-one coach lives near me. So if I can do that, I can get him to start watching me next to my house because it's not going to be an inconvenience for him to travel 60, 70, 80 miles to come watch me play. Yeah. He's going to be driving 2 miles, watch me on his doorstep, and then he can start plugging me up with other teams. So that's my goal at the moment.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, that was some good insight. So thanks for that. So obviously, recently there's been like a whole hoo-ha about the Premier League postponements. You know, games getting called off, people having legitimate reasons, some people not having legitimate reasons. I think recently, obviously, Arsenal, Tottenham, that game was called off because Arsenal put a request in, and everyone was in uproar saying, you know, Arsenal are like cheating the system, etc., etc. Arsenal fans are obviously saying that, you know, other teams have been doing it. Why is it that we're getting all the grief and stuff? But Eddie, let me come to you as an Arsenal fan. You know, what is your perspective on this whole postponement of Premier League games?
First off, I want to shout out Mika Richards for his comments on Sky Sports. I think he's a very sensible young man. Not all the time, but this time he was very sensible. My thing is, again, Gary Neville had something to say. Can't understand his logic, but like, if a club files for it, there's procedures and protocols that people investigate and then make a final decision. Arsenal did not call off the game. The Premier League, FA called off the game. So clearly they must have seen something within that report or investigation they did to call it. So I think the focus needs to be off Arsenal and on the FA because they're the ones making the rules, and no one really, the general public don't know the protocols or the what it takes to postpone the game. We're just making it up as we go along. You know, when Tottenham did it, when Man U did it, when a few teams did it, oh yeah, they have COVID cases. Who's to say you had COVID cases? We don't know. We don't know the players. We don't know how many players. So I think now they're saying it's enough because they want games played. If you want games played, show it to the public. Because Sky Sports always show things, but for some reason they've never showed this protocol of how to get a COVID game cancelled. Why is that? You know what I mean? So until that is done, and as the fans understand it, then we can start criticizing teams and saying.
I think they have brought out what it is to like get a game called off. I think you've got to have 13 players and 1 goalkeeper. Like if you've got less than that, then
what does that
game
mean?
Gets called off.
Of course, you're gonna have 13 players, but they're gonna be 13 players that are in the first team. Because don't forget, you register 25 players in the.
Yeah, so I mean, as long as you've got 13 from that 25, you should be able to play that game.
And Arsenal must not have had that 13 clearly because it was postponed.
No, I think a lot more goes into it. I guess if there's protocols and all these other things in place, I guess you could put out 13. Like they could put the under-16s out into the 13, but it doesn't make sense because they've got to give themselves the best possible chance to compete. Because let's say 4 or 5 guys get COVID, for instance, and then you've got to bring in 4 or 5 guys from the reserves. Now it just looks like a Mickey Mouse league. Like we saw what happened to Leeds that time when they played. Was it City they played that time?
Yeah, City.
And then just got brushed because they can't put out a squad that they consistently work with. So I think it will just ruin. Like you don't want to log in and let's say you put on the TV and you're seeing someone losing 8-0 and it's supposed to be a derby. And like, what's going on here? It doesn't make sense. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Actually, you're better postponing it, playing when everybody is fit, so that way you can actually put out your best 11. Because next thing, it's 38 games played in the season and someone silly's won the league because they're the only one that avoided COVID.
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense to actually postpone games.
Yeah, no, you guys are making some valid points. I think not a lot of people look at it that way. Because
and then to back you up on that, let's say we're all in the same team, yeah, and Michael's got COVID, right, and we test negative, that is not to say we don't have the virus, and that could affect us. Because look what's happened to certain players. They're having heart abnormal difficulties and stuff like that. So clubs have to take precaution. Players have to be given rest. Just because you tested, I didn't test, does not mean I might not be still having the virus like lingering, and it might turn up later on.
That's true.
So yeah, it's only common sense that you look after the players' well-being.
Yeah,
prevention is better than cure, as you said. Like you just better to look. Like, what's a game in the grand scheme of things? One game is not worth risking the health of these guys. Like
that's true.
As you said, we're seeing people drop down. A bunch of players he did with heart attacks and stuff. Eriksen, you got Aguero retiring. Aguero just left City like 2 weeks ago, and then he's retiring.
Even Aubameyang as well.
Aubameyang, like I'm hearing so many different stories. It's like for the like one game is gonna cause that. These guys are also individuals. They've got families to go back to. I think people just tap in the remote and say, "Look, it's Tuesday. I'm sitting at home. One game on." You know what I mean? It's so systematic to know that you need to watch that game on Tuesday at 8 o'clock and all the build up to it whilst you're eating your dinner. That you don't even care about these guys.
When you go fantasy team, you need them games to be playing, man.
Mike's one of them guys. When Chelsea games are postponed, he's not saying nothing.
I know. Of course he
going down. He's on Instagram typing.
But like I was about to say as well, for us, I say us, but the fans, we always put these footballers like, they're getting paid X amount of money, so they should play. Like, I'm ill and I still go to work. Well, my work is different to their work. They are putting their lives at risk. When you go on a football pitch, like being a footballer is more dangerous. It's the most dangerous job because anything can happen to you. You can have a heart issue. You can break your neck, break your foot. You can die from shock. It's a lot of stuff. Like you put yourself through being a footballer. So we got to be understanding. We have to be. Do
you think that anybody will, and I don't ever think that people will be understanding though, because I guess when you break it down to the penny, he's making 4K an hour. What are you earning? You'll see it all over Instagram when they're breaking down people's wages, scratching their head, looking around working.
But you know what? In this day and age, obviously the power of social media, YouTube and stuff, you can see that a lot of footballers are now being transparent with their day-to-day. Like, there's so much podcasts and vlogging and all of this. So now you can see what they get up to on their day-to-day. So then it should take away a little bit. People saying, you get paid X amount and you do nothing. All you do is kick a ball. Yeah, it should take away a little bit. It's still going to be there. Because
man, them are going 5-a-side on Monday and thinking, I can do it. It's only 40 minutes worth of training. Like, do you know, even me, I didn't understand to a certain level because I was young. I didn't know what the pro, when you're in academies and you're looking at the first team, you don't really know what they're doing. You're just seeing them pull up in big cars. You're thinking, yo, that car's nice. But you're not really seeing, like, I didn't know that they're there from 9 to 6 every day. You don't ever think that they're there the same way everyone else at their 9 to 5. They're there the whole day as well. And there's a bunch of things that go into it. Christmas Day, what do you guys get to do? You get to enjoy your time with your family, have great meals. These guys, like, I know people that are in hotels going to spend Christmas with one of their teammates' families just because they can't go home, or because they go home, they got to be at a hotel for a certain time, and then you're just missing a bunch of life. So I guess they get paid the premium for not having a normal life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Sacrifice a lot.
Exactly.
So, lads, what's your thoughts on Rafa Benitez? Because he's been sacked due to not winning any games in the last, I can't remember what the stat is, but I think it's 1 win in 13 games. Unfortunately, that win was against Arsenal.
always the case.
Always Arsenal, isn't it?
I like it. But yeah, should he have been appointed in the first place with his Liverpool connections? Because I don't think he should have, to be honest.
Yeah, but you can't base him because he managed Liverpool. What kind of nonsense is that?
Nah, but he had like daggers in his back simply because he was associated with Liverpool. Like, the board should have thought about that before appointing him.
But you know what, man? He's Spanish. Do you know what I mean? He's not English. He's not a Steven Gerrard coming to manage Everton. Them man, they don't know about no connection. They pull up, it's red. They know they come from Liverpool. And then next thing you know, he knows the area and it's Everton. But I don't think he should have gone there. I'll be honest with you. I feel like he just ruining his name by going to certain clubs.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I'm hearing Mourinho could be looking at Everton, and you're just like, you guys are starting to ruin your name. And he's going to end up falling. Like, even I was talking to my family, I won't even take the United job right now because next thing you know, you're losing your credibility, man. Like,
that's true.
I don't think he should have gone there. Personally, I don't think he should have gone.
Because if you think about it, if you really deep it, there was a lot of factors why they were losing games and stuff, because they had injury, they had COVID and stuff like that. Obviously, some tactics was questionable, but he was missing his best player, like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But if he didn't have that Liverpool connection, I just have a feeling that he would have probably had more time, because I think that Liverpool connection was like hanging over his head, because one, the media will always latch on to that, saying, oh, Benitez, Liverpool, and look, he's losing games, the fans are going to turn on him. The fans were questionable about him anyway. And they kind of gave him a chance because he was winning at the beginning. But as soon as he started losing, it's like, nope, he's got to go. Do you know what I mean? So all these factors were always against him. It just needed him to have a bad run, which he did. And now he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah,
I guess they're always looking for an excuse to get rid of you.
Of course. And again, like you said, you touched on in the beginning, he was having a great run. Yeah? Everyone was saying everything, like, do whatever, do that, do this. They had some injuries, COVID cases. You know, some of his tactics were a bit questionable, but don't forget, Benitez he's at a level where he expects his players to be able to deal with pressure. He's managed Real Madrid, Liverpool, you know, so when you come to Everton, it's hard to change. Like Ancelotti as well. It's hard to change because you're used to dealing with big names who have certain X amount of talent that can deal with certain things. And when you're trying to instill in these, not mediocre players, but these less than average players, of course, it's going to come out looking a bit worse than what it is, you know. So I don't blame him for going, because he tried to change obviously the dynamic of Everton. He didn't have the personnel to do so. Yes, he's been sacked, but I don't think he can hold his head down and say, oh yeah, I didn't do a great job, because he tried and he had a lot of injuries, like he said. Barring them injury.
You know which manager I think was on their level? Sam Allardyce.
Nah, you're moving mad.
Mate, when he was there, he kept them in the top 10. But they sacked him because of his playing style, innit? Obviously, no one rates his playing style, innit? Because he's defensive. But the thing, he's on their level. He is literally on their level because he's an average manager.
I've progressed since then.
Yeah, I don't think
have they really? But have they?
Big Sam.
But have they really? Have they really progressed?
Big Sam's a relegation type of thing.
Yeah, but even with Ancelotti, they weren't like doing up, like they weren't pulling up trees.
But again, he thought he could instill it in set. But he brought bloody, what's his name? James Rodriguez.
Wasn't that Ancelotti that brought him in?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
He
he
brought
was.
him to the team because he tried to change the mentality and the mindset. But one player can't do it all. You need players alike. That's why That's why when big players go to small clubs, it doesn't work out for them most of the time because
works.
it's like you're used to playing with the elite, and now you're expected to do what you're doing with the elites with a lesser players.
It's true.
It's mad. Imagine if Ozil went to play for like Burnley, you would think, oh, bare assists, but people got to be making the runs. There's bare things to it.
Yeah.
So
I think when you've been playing football, you understand those differences. Like, even for instance, it goes down to more than just the game. Like, the manager can only do so much.
Yeah.
There needs to be a winning mentality from the owners, and that winning mentality then filters through the club, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If you've got a manager that's a winner, but the owner's like, do you know what, we're doing all right now, top 5, right? You're not really gonna progress, as you know. James Rodriguez came in, played amazing, but it's very very hard to change the dynamic because you've got, what's the centre back's name? Michael Keane in there.
Yeah.
And when James Rodriguez is used to playing with
Ramos
Sergio Ramos and Varane and them guys, you've got, do you know what I mean? It kills.
Yeah.
What's his name? Leighton Baines and all them. Like, come on, man. It don't work.
All right, Kai, let me ask you that, because I think we've asked quite a few people on this pod, but as a Man United fan, what is your thoughts on Jadon Sancho?
I don't think he will do too well playing with the likes of Bruno Fernandes in the same team. The reason why is Jadon Sancho operates as a winger, but he's not a winger. He's more of a 10. So he likes to get the ball, pop inside or around the box with little feints and what have you. Whereas you got Bruno Fernandes occupying the same sort of spaces. You can't have two players, especially a 10 and a winger, that are both they like the ball to feet. Bruno's a man that likes his players to run in behind. So I don't think Sancho will do that well with the way we are, because I feel like we need more, that Bayern mentality where everyone just sprinting off. We need more of those type of players. Sancho's not really that type of player, so I don't think United was the right move for him.
I said it from the get-go. I said, you don't have Lingard. I think Lingard would have done a better job than Sancho, and you'd have saved more money fixing your central midfield than going for attackers, because let's be honest, you need that core in the middle. Right? What do I know about football?
It's true. No, you're right. I guess we have to look into it sometimes. I think maybe Sancho, they're looking at it for long term. Maybe you can get 8-9 years out of him. Possibly you can build a team around the young guys that we have. I don't know. I don't know with the managers that we have and the way the managers even play, if it will work with him. So I guess we just have to see. But I feel like the way he's going to end up on a bench and he might not play, he's going to end up ruining himself.
Yeah. See, I was saying to one of my guys, I was saying that you guys should build your team around Greenwood and McTominay. And the reason why I said McTominay, even though he might be like fairly average, but he can be like your Fletcher, like your Darren Fletcher. That guy that does all the dirty work.
I definitely see it. And the same thing we go back to earlier. We need those dirty work guys. I think McTominay, Greenwood, Rashford, Ronaldo coming, as much as I love him, I don't know if it's the right thing. Yeah. Because you want these guys to build a name for themselves instead of thinking when they get to go, they got to chop it back and lay in Ronaldo. Whereas the Green was the only one I've seen, he just don't care.
Yeah.
He just run at the ball and take a shot. And if he misses his eye, he jogs back. When Ronaldo's screaming his name, he's running back. He don't care what he's doing. I think that's good, but the dynamic of it will start to affect those other players when Ronaldo's in there. And instead of where they would, maybe Sandro, for instance, where he would just run at a man and shift him and go and put a cross in or whatever it is. He's looking for Ronaldo now and he's crossing it from 40 yards like he's Beckham. He's not playing his game. So I think those things.
Yeah.
And also the Prem. I don't know about the Prem for Sancho, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if Sancho's a Prem type of player.
I said this, and I'll say this like when they signed him, everyone thought I was hating. In the Bundesliga is different. You get a lot of one-on-ones, not a lot of defenders can keep up with him because of his speed and his trickery. But in the Premier League, a man like that Norwich centre-back will be keeping up with you, bro.
Oh.
Eddie was getting bare grief, boy.
They'll be bodying you. Like, it is Premier League is physical. But what I'll say about McTominay, you say he can be their Fletcher. The reason why Fletcher could be Fletcher was he had greatness around him. Remember that. McTominay don't have greatness around him for him to be Fletcher. Fletcher was like a little missing piece to a great team already. He was the workhorse. Do you know what I mean? Man United need.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm giving too much gems on man. I don't even like Man U. So yeah. Now you lot keep me talking.
Nah, you're right. I think that the formula around what we're trying to do, I think like Arsenal, for instance, where they've gone through that crazy transition, moving stadium, no money and what have you, and everyone slating Wenger. And next thing you know, man, he leaves and it's just a madness. But you need to start integrating the next generation and bringing them through. Because I think we tried to go back to the old generation, get all the old ballers in and get them to do the job. Whereas we actually need to understand where we currently are and just go through that process. Ronaldo shouldn't have come in. Do you know what I mean? Okay, with his goals, he scored amazing goals, but I think Greenwood was doing amazing. I think Rashford was doing well. Cavani should definitely be there because we needed someone like Cavani.
And he's a different kind of player. Like you can tell, like he works hard. Not to say that Ronaldo doesn't, but obviously we know Ronaldo's weaknesses. He just waits for the ball.
Ronaldo does not work as hard as Cavani. Let's be honest, bro.
Yeah, because Ronaldo running like Cavani is. Don't get me wrong. I started to see it more doing certain sprints and that, but Cavani's just loose ball and South Americans. Remember Sanchez?
Yeah. And Tevez.
They just run and run.
Suarez as well.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think Cavani would have made a difference if he was your main striker and you had everyone else like doing what they're doing. But
I think, bro, when they signed, I remember when they signed Ronaldo, my boy Tristan, who was in the car. Yeah, it's done, man. I'm like, okay.
Let's see.
Okay. Because I thought Cavani was gonna leave. I was praying Cavani left. I was praying. Because, bro, if you don't have Cavani and Bruno behind him, Lord.
Yeah.
With Rashford and whoever and Greenwood on the wings.
It's true.
It's wrong. I think we would have done a lot better in games now because people would have feared us more.
Yeah.
100%. It's like, for instance, if you guys ever watched Portugal are very strong with Ronaldo, but without him, they're a different type of team. Yeah, it's like who you marking out the game now? Bruno will get 2. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You've got all these other, you got João Felix. Like, I think with Ronaldo, it kind of affects the whole style of the team. Like Benzema, for instance, he's a joke. Without Ronaldo, he's now come into his own. I think something stop people from being able to play their game.
Yeah.
He kind of sacrificed himself a bit, innit, Benzema? Because he was still performing, but just not to like his best.
Exactly.
He became more of a workhorse kind of striker, innit?
That's it. Find a way to get Ronaldo.
Put it this way, if Ronaldo's not, and again, and this is what I was saying about he's great, but same part of his behavior I don't like. If he's not the one scoring, he's not as happy. Like, you know what I mean? He wants to be the limelight, which I get because you want to be the greatest of all time. So you want that spotlight all the time. You want to be that factor. But football's a team sport, so I always go with that first, then obviously the individual.
No, that's true.
All right, Kyreece, it's the quick fire questions. We always test our guests with their knowledge of their team. So, got some questions for you.
What am I going to ask him? Arsenal questions or Man United questions? As he supported both teams.
Well, if you're going to ask the question, you can always throw it in. All right, cool. How much did Andy Cole cost Man United from Newcastle?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna guess 16 million.
No. It was 7 million.
Okay. Those questions there, but that was before he was really balling, but go on.
I got one for him. Go on. Who did Man United buy? Man United bought Jemba. What team did Man United buy him from?
I don't even know. I'm gonna be real with you. The season before my time.
It was Notes in France.
Okay, I don't even know who that is.
This one should be during your time.
Okay.
What team? Well, it's not even a Premier League question, but it's Man United. What team did Rashford make his debut against?
Well, in the Premier League? Or
nah,
in the Europa League.
His first debut.
Oh, was it Villarreal?
Nope.
I don't know that.
In the
I know it's not.
No, it wasn't Premier League. It was in the Europa League. It was
He scored
against.
2 now.
I think he did. It was against Midtjylland.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I know it was his first Prem game, but that one there.
You got a question, Eddie?
Oh, he ain't gonna know this one. How many appearances did Chris Smalling have for Man United in the Prem? In total.
Oh, I'm gonna guess a random number, like 140.
206.
Okay, yeah.
And he scored
Quite a
12
bit.
goals. It's quite good.
Oh wow!
For centre back.
Yeah.
All right. So finally, we need your game week 23 predictions. Now, a disclaimer: we're recording this on Wednesday, the 19th of Jan, because the fixtures are this weekend. So I don't want people to think that we recorded this after the games were done. So yeah, Wednesday, the 19th of Jan, this is being recorded. Just a disclaimer. All right. So Watford versus Norwich. If you can just tell me what you think the score will be.
2-0 to Watford.
Everton versus Villa.
I'm going to 3-1 Villa.
Okay. Brentford versus Wolves.
2-0 Brentford.
Leeds versus Newcastle.
One 0 Newcastle.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go with it.
Man United versus West Ham.
About my team. 2-0 United.
Southampton versus Man City.
Oh, 4-0 City.
Arsenal versus Burnley. Probably get postponed.
Yeah, literally. 2-0 Arsenal. Martinelli. He's grabbing the goals.
Crystal Palace versus Liverpool.
4-0 Liverpool.
Without Mane and Salah?
Oh, snap. But ain't Mane on his way back?
Nah.
They made it through. So.
Okay, yeah, I'll go 2-1 Palace.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I'll go Palace. Without them, that's a big mess.
Leicester versus Brighton.
I'm doing well. 1-0 Leicester.
Chelsea versus Spurs.
Jeez.
2-0 Chelsea.
Okay. All right. So that's your predictions locked in.
Cool.
So,
What happens if I get them all right?
If you beat us, well, this is what we're doing. If you beat us, then we owe you like Nando's. But you can't go mad. It's half a chicken. It's a drink.
he's vegan anyway, so his food should be cheap.
Yeah, it's more expensive, bro.
We'll just get you salad.
Disrespectful.
With drizzle of peri. Oh man. But yeah, no, it's been a good episode, man. You know, we appreciate you coming on, Kai. You know,
Yeah, man. You gave some good insight, man.
It was nice catching up with you guys, man.
Yeah. No, hopefully we'll have you on again for sure.
No, we'll have him definitely.
And some, more in-date questions, yeah, because you guys are jember in these guys.
I'll give you some 2015 questions. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right.
Man. Edmundo, any final words?
Just lay off these footballers, man. Coronavirus is real out here. Let them live a normal life as well. I know they're getting paid X amount of money, but the clubs are making 15 times what their players are making. So, no, just keep them in your thoughts, man. Yeah.
Wise words. Cool. All right. Well, that's it for another episode. Please like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right, man. Peace out, yeah?
All right. Take it easy, guys. Bye.